Hello and welcome to the fifth round of the 2023 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race in Live for Speed, and it's sunny at Rockingham for the UFR with a lot of laps, 71 laps I think. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching SimBroadcasts.tv, and joining me in the commentary box for RTFR XL 77th edition is Eoin Harmon and Miika Sarkinen. Eoin, how are you first of all?
Yeah, I'm in good form, Pete. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I hope you're ready for another RTFR after last week's action. That should be that's just what the doctor ordered, I think. Miika, you were involved in that race last week. How was it for you? And welcome along.
Good evening. The last week's race was. I struggled finding some pace in the race itself, but other than that, it was pretty good. There's any major incidents, and I'm happy with the result and excited to see some UFR racing today.
Yeah, we are promised plenty of action here today, so carrying on the tradition, that's for sure. I'm sure you can attest to that, Miika, from last time out. Let's have a look then at the combination, because it is an interesting one. We are using the Rockingham Sportscar circuit, but without the formidable first chicane. It causes too many accidents, so it's been removed for this combination, which the drivers, they're not really going to complain about that. It's 2.7 kilometres, 1.7 miles. It uses 10 corners of the Rockingham circuit in Corby in the UK. And yeah, we have 71 laps with the UFR around here today. So a mighty little circuit, good fun, very, very fast. And the car is, well, it's perfect for here. It's super challenging, 1.4 litre inline four front engine, front wheel drive, 600 kilograms, quite a high centre of gravity, so it can roll over fairly easily if you do clout those little sausage curves that we've got around Rockingham. Miika, let's go to you first of all. This is going to be tough for some of the drivers.
I bet it will be. I've seen some people struggle with it already, but of course it's just one of those things that separates the good drivers from anyone else.
Yeah, we're coming just to the end of the qualifying session at the moment. So before we show you the dying laps of that, let's look at the calendar. We are 5 rounds in after today, but we've had a great calendar so far. Some very memorable races and a very, very tight championship. The series returns on June 13th for the 78th edition. So just keep in mind that this is once a month that RTFR XL runs for its extended format. Let's look then at the track and see what's going on in qualifying. So yeah, currently topping the timesheets, it is Vitalis Lagutskas. Owen, what's the story so far in qualifying? It looks like it's pretty tight at the top, only 2/10 separating the top two guys, who are very satisfied just sitting in the garage.
Yeah, they must feel like it's a job well done, but Adam, again, now that he's becoming a fixture in RTFR, it's good to see him. He is trying to be best of the rest here in P2 at 1 minute 4, 7/10 of a second or 8/10 of a second back. Mantas, Arska, Rayman, Donny, Lorenzo, Muli, Soini all complete the top 10. But yeah, I think the race is a completely different story because of those challenging curbs, as you mentioned, Pete. If you hit them even half without duty or care, you will flip, and that could be the end of your race.
Yeah, we've already seen plenty of that happening in the practice and the qualifying running up to now. And just a moment ago, as we follow Nova across the start-finish line, who will be the final timed car, someone else ahead of him almost rolled the car coming out of Gretton. So let's see what Nova can manage. He goes up to P14, so he does set a decent time in the session in the end. So let's have a look then at the qualifying standings, as they will be for 71 laps of RO11. Rockingham Sports Car without the first chicane. It's Lagutskas for Yes Motorsports on pole with a 1 minute 3.38. Behind him is Rick Cardle, TC Racing's Adam, Born to Race Mantas, World Class Lions Asker, Rayman for B2R. Then it's Iron Donny, Race Queen's Lorenzo, Zafaralis the Muli, World Class Lions Team Musoni, the top 10. Then we've got Lara, Onifus, Yari Katilla, Nova, who we just saw complete his lap, 3 Jump, T-Bug, Rex, Zip LFS, Rony himself, and PP. And then I think over on the second page of results, we're going to have 5 cars. It's going to be Yassin Badal for Air Sport, Fox Club Forden, Nex, Weed, and M. Benza. Benza this time has managed to get inside the 110% time, but because of the longer format here, Eoin, I'm not. Will they be able to start? I'm not sure. I think they need to have times with under 107 to be allowed, but it's at the discretion of Rony. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Rony has the final say on drivers who set those bottom times or thereabouts if they're competitive enough to complete the race. Yeah, there were fears perhaps that Benza wasn't able to reach the standard required, but yeah, maybe there is something that has appeared that could sway the decision. Yeah, we hate seeing people being turned away. It is a fun series after all, but yeah, you still have to give your commitment and your determination to make sure you can make this race the best it can be.
Yeah, absolutely right, Eoin. And before we get going for the action, we have about 8 minutes to go. We can talk about the all-important Driver Championship standings. Of course, the only competition that is being kept track of this year is the Driver Championship standings. So here they are. It's Sidus Gabor who currently leads the way. He hasn't set a qualifying time. We will confirm whether he is actually even in the server, but it doesn't look like he is. So it doesn't look like Gabor is even here yet. So we'll see if he's going to be able to challenge his teammate Rick Cardle to try and keep that 1 point gap alive. It's 1 point back to Rick Cardle, his teammate. Then it's Asker for World Class Lions, 48 points. So a big gap, Miika, between the top two and the rest of the field here.
Yeah, indeed. Those top two drivers, they are the ones that are you feel like always winning. They are always in the top fights. So the guys from, say, from third place all the way down to 10th place, they are those who make like they have a good like standard procedure going on. They finish in solid places, but never on like the most top, like never on top 3 almost. But then you have Gabor and Cardle, which are always in the top 3, and that's what builds this gap.
Gabor is not racing. No, who's not racing? Benza is not racing. My mistake. Benza is not going to be taking part. But yeah, you're right, Miika. That the everyone from third place downwards. That's where really the action is going to be. We think. Gabor's not here. Rick Cardle is here. He's currently qualified on the front row alongside Lugutskas. Valter has had a win this year. Don't forget at the very beginning. But yeah, he's down there in P4. He's also not here, so will not be scoring any points. Asker qualified in P5, so he can. Thamuli, always a solid runner, currently P5 in the standings. Qualified P9 today. Pekka Koivunen's also not here today, so he won't be scoring any points. Rony qualified down in 19th. He won't be happy with that, but plenty of opportunity to climb up the order today because of the nature of this car at this track. Then it's Fragmaster's Fatal. He's also not in attendance today. So plenty of other drivers behind will be able to climb up this order. Binkham and Lorenzo round out the top 10. Let's take a look then at the other pages of the results. Eoin, I think, this is the round really then where there's going to be plenty of opportunities for those drivers who are lower down the order in the standings to creep back up as we approach the mid stage of this year's championship.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you mean. The turnout is going to be just below 25 drivers, so yeah, even getting a 20th place finish will stand you in very good stead. Perhaps some drivers would have been competing for 30th place or thereabouts in a higher attended round, but yeah, 20th place would be gold for some of these drivers who just want to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, there's going to be a decent number of movers and shakers. Remember that the points in RTFR XL does depend on the number. The points awarded depends on the number of starters, so that will be taken into effect. The fewer starters, the fewer points overall there are on offer. That means that more attended rounds kind of are weighted to reward drivers who finish further up the field, more heavily, I guess. So that is what will be happening today. But yeah, Gabor not currently in attendance. We'll see if he turns up and drives for us. It's very, very rare actually that he doesn't turn up to RTFR XL. So hopefully we will we'll see him. But if not, we're going to have plenty of action if Lugutskas, Rick Cardle, Adam and Mantas have their way. Let's put the Driver Championship standings away for a minute and just refresh ourselves on that qualifying session. We joined it quite late. So here they are. It's Lagutskas will start alongside Rick Cardle. It'll be TC Racing's Adam alongside Mantas on row 2. Then Asker and Rayman on row 3. Donny, Lorenzo, Thamuli and Soini will round out the top 10. Lara, then Onifus, Yarikatila, Nova, who set that final flying lap to be promoted to P14. Then it's 3 jump, T-Bug, Rex, Zip LFS, Rony himself and PP. Over on the second page, 4 drivers will start. We'll have Yasin, Fordham, Nex, Weed, and Benza, having not set a fast enough time in qualifying, will not be starting. So at least 24 cars will start this race. We hope. We may see a few late joiners who have precedent to start these races. Owen.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If everyone has the knowledge that they require just to make sure they know where they stand, that's all well and good. There's always next month if you didn't make it today, either through being knocked out in 107% rule, or if you're just absent and have other commitments you need to fulfill. So yeah, that's probably what the drivers require most of all, just a little bit of knowledge about where they stand.
Yeah, this series happens every single month, and you can join it on the Race Green Events server, the Rony's Tuesday Fun Race server, in the for speed. You just have to be here at some point on the hour running up to the race to set a qualifying time. And if it's fast enough and you're within the top 40, then you can start the race. So we hope to see you either watching or taking part on the next round on June 13th, which is going to be a combination picked by today's winner. It is at the discretion of the winner of RTFR XL to choose the combination for the next event. So stay tuned to see what that will be. Don't forget also that there are 2 other RTFR events happening every single month. We've got RTFR returning next week, and we can't wait for that. Last time out was an absolute treat. But we say that, but there have been a number of really, really great races this year, and hopefully the UFR at Rockingham Sportscar without the first chicane will be no different. Here it is again for those of you who are just joining us or have not seen this configuration before in LFS. It's one of the S3 tracks. However, it's been slightly modified to remove the first chicane. Probably a good shout, Owen, especially in this car.
Yeah, if there's one less thing for the drivers to worry about, that's also good. It would be disappointing if we had an attrition rate an uncontrollable and ludicrous fashion or level. You want to see the drivers pushing as hard as they can, knowing there's one less threat to worry about.
And Miika, the final chicane through from Kirby at turn 8 to Gretton at turn 9 onto the oval, that is tricky. There's a lot of curbs there that this car just won't enjoy.
Yeah, it's very easy to flip there, but it's also very important to go well through it, because you have the oval coming out from it and you want to get a good go on the straight.
We've said this in a number of streams recently, but excitement is going to be guaranteed in this one. I can almost guarantee, because we have 71 laps, and something's going to happen to pretty much everybody around here. And it's time to go to the grid for the start. Let's go.
So we're all set. Everyone lined up. Sidus Unite has actually been granted entry. He's at the very back, but we have our lights on. And they're away. So Lagutskas in the green will have the advantage ahead of Ricardo, who will merge in behind. Adam stays low as well, so Arska's got to wait for his turn to get onto the apron, and decides to stay moderately in the middle and ahead of Rayman. So into the first braking zone. Rick on the outside. Is this going to pay off? No, it's not. So Polsitter maintains order. Here comes Yantwood now.
Yeah, we've got cars going off already. That's the Mooley running onto the gravel and back onto the racetrack in front of a bunch of cars. Everyone from about... Oh, and there's contact. Someone shoved straight off. Who's that? Is it T-Bug? Yes, it is. T-Bug's going to rejoin. And luckily not into anybody, but there's a Bale that's joined most of the field, and he's spun out onto the gravel. And, well, he's going to have to be careful to get that back moving. He manages it. But, as we almost wrap up the first lap, Lagutskas is out onto oval turn 4. with Rick Cardle close in pursuit. We've got somebody rolling. We've got PP in the background, our first victim just out of Gretton there, Miika.
Yeah, just as we talked about the last chicane, it's brutal. He's taking its victims. As Ricardo is really looking at place outside Lagoskas again. But will he go? No, he'll try to go inside this time. And Lagoskas can keep it easily. And still get the first place from him.
Unite is making an enormous gain here to begin with. He's passed half the field in the first lap and a bit. So yeah, excellent work from Unite. But it is all about the lead pair. They are close as you can get, 0.2 of a second apart. And Rick is going to give every last ounce of energy to try and find a way through and into the lead. Be precious to his championship ambitions to win this race when Gabor isn't here.
Yeah, well, he's had one opportunity so far this race already, but as we head over start-finish for the second time, it looks as though Lagoskas has got the measure of him at the moment, but anything can happen, as we've already seen. We've already had a bunch of cars having trouble. Adam's got a bit of a void actually now, Eoin, to the top two, and risks being caught by Rayman if he's not careful.
I saw Donny was taking a look at Rayman, braking a little bit later. But he had a firm control of the turn-in, so that keeps him in contention with Rayman. Yeah, Adam, his objective, I suppose he's from qualifying, it looks like he would be half a second short on the lead two, so third place, barring any catastrophes. That's his objective, I'm sure.
Yeah, as the field come through Gretton and onto the oval once again, we're following Ian Donny, currently P4, in a sandwich between Rayman and Thamuli. And yeah, talking of Thamuli, let's talk to his teammate Miika. What's his feelings about the UFR here?
It was nothing like very special this time. He was like okay-ish with the car, with the setup, and it's just another race for him.
Just another race. Well, let's hope it is just another race, because he's done pretty well so far this season, and well, he doesn't want much drama, as we've got two world-class Lions cars scrapping. This is Asker and Jari Katila. Asker normally used to being a little bit higher up the field at this point in the race, so P12, he'll want to make some gains from there, I'm sure.
So Nex is a bit loose out of Dean. Now he rejoins 17th. That's a frustrating moment. Oh, there is trouble there. Sliding again, so it must be the setup. The car itself is in good health. He's all over the shop.
He's having a lot of trouble. Maybe, I hope he hasn't overheated his tyres already. That would be a disaster. It looks like they might be just a little bit cold, in fact. We will see. As we pick up Adam, who is about to come over start-finish once again. The gap to the leaders has opened up a little bit, as we've got Rayman actually side-by-side with Donny.
Yeah, this is a crucial moment. Donny is showing great fire so far, and Rayman will do well here just to hug the inside of Dean. Beware of that switchback. Yeah, it's a good block, but Donny absolutely reveling here in the UFR.
Yeah, he looks hungry, doesn't he? And Rayman is going to be all too aware that Donny won't hang around. Donny is notorious for just going for it. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't really think about the long game too much. He just goes for any opportunity that comes his way. A bit of dust being kicked up by some drivers in front as we continue to ride on board with Donny. Let's see if he gets a good exit through Gretton onto the oval. Well, he's got a bunch of cars behind him as well. That's why he doesn't want to hang around. He's got a lot of cars following. As someone's peeling into the pits. Is that who is that?
Onifus, yeah. Onifus. So yeah, mandatory pit stop. In Onifus's case, I know guys at the back have had to pit for repairs, but at least it gets it out of the way. So yeah, this is interesting thinking here from Onifus.
Donny's having another go on Rayman. This time he's diving inside. He's let it very late. Has overshot it. He can barely keep it. Rayman tried to go back inside, but just couldn't make it stick. Donny made awesome move to make that pass on the fourth place.
Yeah, that was a very, very courageous move. It worked out. Nova is taking on Lorenzo for P8. Nova, it's very rare to see him in anything apart from the signature air attack yellow, but it is a lime green for him today. See, a little bit of a wobble. He catches it on the exit though. Lorenzo should have a speed advantage onto the oval.
Yeah, Nova got his excuses in early today. He said in the chat before we went live that he hasn't driven the UFR in 2 years. We don't care about your excuses here on Sim Broadcast. We want to see results.
Yeah, and results, 9th is not what Nova expects. I know he wants to be competing for the top honours. It is a long race, and there's plenty more where that came from.
Yeah, too right, Owen, as we pick up with Adam, who is making himself very, very comfortable in this P3 position, but Tony has already dispatched of Rayman, and, well, he will fancy catching up very quickly if he can. Meanwhile, it does look like Nova has latched back onto the back of Lorenzo as we head through Piff-Paff.
Nova is very hungry. We gotta give it to him. If he said he hasn't driven the UFR in 2 years, he's had a bit light there and lost a bit to Lorenzo. But well, if he hasn't driven UFR in 2 years and he's challenging third place, it's not a bad start for him.
Here we pick up a battle between Rony and Jari Katila that was brewing in the infield, and looks like it's going to come to fruition on the oval potentially.
Yeah, Jari has the inside line back into turn 1. Rony, though, will be wrapping that Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine livery. Something totally different for him as well. So yeah, a lot of drivers changing it up.
Yeah, surprising not to see him driving a race green livery, but there we are. He's elected for something a little bit more left of field.
How about this?
Hammer going on Raymond, got up and looking for a good exit from the last chicane. As Raymond actually pulls away a little. Now he needs to find a good... he can get a slipstream here. Behind we got Lorenzo fighting.
Lara must have dropped the position to Lorenzo. May just be a decision where he wants to get slipstream back on our race green representative. But apart from that, it is a case of Lara has gone down a position, he wants it back. So let's see what happens.
Is really looking for the place. He's looking for the inside. This is a very unusual place to go and make a move, but Lorenzo can hold it so far. But Lorenzo has made a mistake, and that's let him. And there's contact. That sends Lorenzo wide, and he loses a couple places there. Oh no, that's unlucky.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Lara sensed the gap was there, and Lorenzo didn't think it was, so he closed the door, and that's what happens. They crunch together, and that's what happens. But yeah, now it's Nova who's got the run as we head up to start finish. He's on the inside, and side by side straight across the line, and it looks like Nova is going to take that place. He'll say thank you very much for Lorenzo and Lara coming together. Unite's also joining the party, guys, as those two ahead are scrapping still.
Yeah, again, Unite is racking up positions, even without, I'd say he wants to go along more wheel-to-wheel contact there. Nova is getting close, but Unite even closer. We're checking out the onboard now, and we'll see if Unite can make his case to finish in the top 5. He's not a million miles away. Yeah, he has to stay calm because these are drivers that are of true class. So if he can outsmart them, that will be fantastic going. So he has the inside line on both of them now into oval. Turn 4 they go. Let's see. Yeah, he's through, but he's got to put out the blockers.
Yeah, Lara and Nova are still going to scrap. Nova's going to try and hug onto the back of Unite and is going to try and repass around the outside, unconventional. Could have gone to the inside if he wanted to. But yeah, Unite still has the lead. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers into turn one? Nova swings to the inside, so does the switch back and has a nice line down into the first corner, and that keeps Unite at bay. Who's that's joined the
That is Lorenzo
yeah,
coming
it's Lorenzo.
back again. Oh. That's intense
That-
battle, keeping the guys going slower, so that allowed Lorenzo to catch up a bit.
Yeah, maybe it's just an act of good faith from Lara to give Lorenzo a chance after that earlier incident, and now they're on good terms, so they can fight away again. Oh no, Adam out of the race.
Yeah, you can just see him there at Gretton.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's not the place where you want to be.
We did say that Gretton was going to be the sort of place where drivers might struggle, and well, struggle he has, and that's the result. Ooh, yeah, Unite's getting close to the back of Nova again, but not close enough to be in the slipstream here. Adam dropping down the order, he's going to have to retire that car. And as he just sits there and waves at everybody, no, he has actually now retired.
Attila on the outside at oval turn one, and he gets back in behind Rex, and the dive bomb is there. Rex leaves the door open, but now his cutback, it's close, but Jari in position. See, from Rex's point of view, he's close, but yeah, got to stay well clear of the Entwood sausage curbs, and similarly into Chapman. That's another very treacherous one if you're not careful.
That first set of corners is so wide, especially for a car this small, so it allows you to take so many lines and have so many good battles through them. So it's always interesting bit of lap to see when you have two cars coming along. And Rex is still on the slipstream of Jari Katila, and he's sending it inside, but Katila should be able to take another slipstream and take the place back.
Yeah, he does that. He wrote the script.
But does it still go the other way around? Rex is looking for it on the braking, but no, he's not sending it. But Katila has went wide. Oh no, that allows Rex. Oh, and there's a contact again. Oh. Rex is actually, he slowed down. He's let Katila go. He must have felt that it was his fault, and he didn't want to overtake after that contact.
That's what it looked like. From our point of view, it could have gone either way. I think Jari was quite wide and came back across the track and into Rex. But anyway, Rex I'm sure he will try and get back later on. Now Thamuli has caught up to the back of Rayman and may have a chance here. He's just about in the slipstream range, I think. Oh, but is he going to catch him close enough? He's gone quite wide at oval turn one. He's not going to have a chance into turn one this time round. He has to hug the back of the car ahead as we head around the lap. Two very similar styles of livery, actually, I've just noticed, but they are rather contrasting colours, but they have similar details on them.
Yeah, I suppose the B2R car has the big slap of silver. That's probably the big difference between the two in terms of the shape, whereas ZFRL has the racing stripe on the roof and it turns around for the white outline and the other angles as well. So yeah, I can certainly see the similarities, but the big difference hopefully is that a little bit of extra power as he gets right into the slipstream, and he has to stay as close to that slipstream as possible. Now he's being offered the apron to overtake on the inside. Rayman will be close and can counterattack into Dean. There we go, they break at roughly the same time. There's the surge into the apex, gets high, and it will be neck and neck here into Yentwood.
It will indeed, and Rayman, oh, there's contact at the apex. But Thamuli, he's through.
Lara has taken a pit stop for only 4.2 seconds, so this must be a two-stop strategy because of the minimum 10 seconds stationary rule.
Yeah, we alluded to talk about that as all. We see Thamuli getting up on two wheels. Plenty of drivers have done that and then gone over, but Thamuli just on the edge of what is allowed, really, through Gretton. But yeah, we alluded to say that all the drivers need to serve at least a 10-second hold in the pit box. There is a 10-second mandatory pit stop in RTFR XL. Rex and Yari are back together, surprise, surprise, but this time roles reverse. Rex is trying to get back past.
Yeah, this is another example of getting the slipstream, and the inside line is right there into oval turn 1, but it's far from a completed move unless the driver that loses briefly doesn't take that inside line. It's just so difficult to carry the momentum in this UFR. That was a daring move there. The curbs nearly put that car loose.
Well, Rex was enough alongside, so Yari thought that Yari gave him plenty of room and that could be his downfall. No, he holds it around the outside. We've got battles going on elsewhere, but let's stay with this for now. Yari just managing to hang on ahead of Rex, but he's on the ropes and they risk being caught back by Team Eoin, which would be something. As Unite now in a bit of a gap on his own in P5. He's just managed to get past Rayman, and Rayman appears to have lost quite a bit of time.
Yeah, there's a case of the rescue job he had to pull off to stay in the race. But yeah, he will have to work his way back up. Yeah, the lead battle is non-existent now. It's 2.7 seconds separating the two leaders, Leguskas and Cardle. Leguskas has rattled off the fastest lap a little while ago, and Rick hasn't been able to match that standard just yet.
Yeah, this is a little bit bigger of a gap than we normally see from our leaders, but yeah, I mean, the big gap is the gap back to P3. Here's Donny just exiting oval turn 4. The gap is enormous. It's 13 seconds from Donny to Rick Cardle. So the top two are in a league of their own, and the Gutscast is showing Rick Cardle which way to go because, well, that gap is going up as well. 3 seconds now. As we go back to Rex, who has made some sort of error out on circuit because he's dropped, not only has he lost Harry Catilla, but he's dropped back behind Soini as well, and now goes into the pit lane. We're going to keep an eye on that. This is what a pit lane's about in RTFR XL. You have to bring it down to the pit lane line. We're running LFS test patch D25, which allows for a smoother looking car on the pit lane speed limiter. So let's give that a bit of airtime as well as Rex emerges from pit lane. We should see a nice smooth exit for a little bit of a little added detail there. That looks pretty smooth to me.
Yeah, solid enough. It's 40 miles per hour or 50 kilometers per hour speed limit. That is lower. Or excuse me, 65k speed limit. So yeah, that is a difference of our usual 80/50 for the usual LFS circuits. Rayman also pits, so yeah, we'll see strategies playing out. This is Nova on the inside of Arska. With Lorenzo, I think Lorenzo's going to play a big factor here in Nova staying in front. Oh, his dive bomb very late. Oh, heavens me.
That was so close. He got it so wrong and had to completely bail out of it in order to not hit Lorenzo. And, well, neutralises his fight with Arska as well in the process. That could have been so bad as we were riding on board with Lorenzo. Rex has now retired with a burnt clutch, so that's what's happened. He's gone through his clutch too quickly. And there we get a little bit of insight into the tyres that the drivers have chosen for their stint. This is just the front tyres that we're showing at the moment. So some drivers electing to run the R3s, some the R4s. And Rayman, interestingly, has just switched from R3s to R4s. So clearly not happy on those R3s at the front, Owen.
No, you'd ideally want those softer tyres to get you further up the grid to start with, and then if you want to go long at the end, you'd switch to the.
Oh,
four.
who's that in the background?
Oh gosh, I didn't see.
It was Nex.
It's Nex, yeah.
He's in the gravel, and that's another retirement. So we had a subpar view of it, but at least we saw it. And well, that's Nex's race. Unfortunately, over. He will not be able to be recovered from there, as the top two are making their way past back markers. There we are. Rick Cardle has navigated the back marker and can continue on his merry way as we enter onto lap 21 of 71. 51 laps to go, including this one. At round 77, the 77th ever RTFR XL, constitutes round 5 of the 2023 season. It's all drama with Nova. Let's see if he can make a better job of this pass this time around. Miika, take it away.
He's decided to go outside from Arska, and this is interesting move to go. Maybe he'll switch back to inside now, but he's still got Lorenzo ahead of Arska to think about as well. But let's go one car at a time. Nova can't make it. He's going very slow in the first corner, and that allows Arska to pull away and actually catch up Lorenzo.
Yeah, that was super tentative. Not sure quite what he was doing there. Not much commitment on the brakes, not much commitment in turning, and certainly not enough commitment on the power. So dropping back a little bit then from Arska. Maybe he's letting Arska focus on Lorenzo so they can both get past, maybe. Let's watch them through Gretton. This is where we've seen a number of cars losing their heads. But all good for those three.
Yeah, it was a smashing camera angle. That was really cool. So we'll carry on with Nova on his battle with Arska, and he is gaining with that slipstream. Let's see the speed difference. Yeah, it's about 1 mile an hour, but it does really come into effect in these kind of cars. Yeah, he's lifting off early, so he's learned his lesson, but Arska's not going to overcook it whatsoever.
Arska still seems quite hungry to try and take that place from Lorenzo, but he doesn't want to overcommit it. He wants to take it slowly. Just like force Lorenzo to make a mistake. Lorenzo, he's keeping as cool as a cucumber, and he's not doing many mistakes in this lap at least. Another time we go onto the oval and start a new lap.
Yeah, but Nova's now caught all the way up to the back of Arska. He's going to be within slipstream range, but will he go for it? He hasn't gone for it on the last 2 occasions. He will be close enough in the brakes, so let's keep an eye on him.
No, he's feathering the throttle.
Yeah, he's not going for it. Interesting strategy from Nova there. Unusual, has to be said.
Might be just looking after his tires. If he feels like those R3s are hard to give him temp.
Well, Lorenzo is missing his apexes. Like, obviously he can't hit the curbs at all, or else he'd be flipped. He's even wider than ideally he should be. So yeah, Arska seems to have the mind games going his way, and Nova is watching on with eager interest just in case there is a double trouble.
Yeah, well, Arska is making terrible work of trying to get past Lorenzo. He's all over the shop trying to make that move, and sooner rather than later, Nova, I guarantee it, will run out of patience.
Yeah, Nova's playing with his hazard lights. They're too small in the front for anybody in front of him to notice, to be honest. Yeah, you can see it. The UFO, the very small little orange hazard lights. Arska pulls to the outside, hoping for a switchback. The gap is there, but Lorenzo does block it.
Yeah, no such difficulty there as we head into up towards Chapman, and well, these three all back together. Soon, as I said, sooner rather than later, Nova will run out of patience. How long is he going to give Arska to try and get past Lorenzo? Not much longer, if I know Nova. Oscar has got a good run, has he? Or has he actually botched it on the exit? He has botched it, and Nova now is all over the back of him. If I were Nova, I'd definitely go for this because I wouldn't want to watch that happen ahead of me too many times over. See if Nova backs
he's
out
got
of
a
it again.
huge overspeed now, 2 or 3 miles per hour. Unfortunately, turn in is going to aid Arska's defense here. He can stay on that apron. And
not going for it.
unfortunately, backs out again.
Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. Weird strategies from these guys. Lorenzo's just minding his own business. Oscar is not. Oh, we've lost Lara. Lara's binned it at Kirby. He's out. It happened so quickly. We're down to 14 cars from our original billing of 24. As we head through Piff Paff with these three, we're following Oscar for World Class Lines, who sponsor. They sponsor this series. They also sponsor RTFR. The prize money goes towards the Drivers' Championship standings winners. And, well, Nova's quite a lot further back now. We head on to the oval for the 26th time.
Nova had a big slide on the exit of the last corner here. And Oscar is this time much closer than he has been before on Lorenzo. And he's going to strike. He's going inside and take the pass, but we'll see if Lorenzo will try to make another counter move here. And he'll not. They'll actually follow each other very close through the corner, but Oscar can keep it for now.
Okay, now the question remains: what will Nova do? I'm sure we will find out answers very soon. We are approaching halfway through this mammoth RTFR XL around Rockingham Sportscar without the chicane. It's without us Lagutskas.
Lorenzo's lagging, and off he goes. And Nova does get the job done. This is another disappointment for Lorenzo. He has to try all over again.
Yeah, it's a shame to see, especially if it was caused by him having a bit of a temporary glitch on his software. But anyway, it's Vitalis Lagutskas leading by quite a margin, 3.2 seconds over Rick Cardle, and it's almost 20 seconds between the leader and this man, Iron Donny, driving in a solid third place for the Iron team. 30 seconds back from our race leader, it's the Mooley, driving for Miika's team, Zaffaralis. Miika prefers to sit behind the camera for the XL edition and watch his teammates drive.
Yeah, it's fun to do it this way sometimes as well. Even though I enjoy racing myself a lot. But this is also a very good way to spend my time and just cheer on my guys here.
Yeah, not too much commentary bias from Miika. Does tend to be quite impartial, even though his teammates often compete in XL. As Thamuli comes across start finish to end lap 27, and it looks like Donny has put a lap over Rayman. So Rayman now goes a lap down. That's unusual. Rayman has pace, and going a lap down so early is interesting. Rayman did have a long pit stop because he did have to change off of those tyres. And he fixed damage, so that explains why he's so far down. But Donny's already gapping him by car lengths every few seconds here.
Yeah, must be something wrong with the setup, or else Rayman is not getting comfortable with the car. He's nearly got to hit the tires. Oh, that was close into Gretton. He hit that inside tire barrier. Thankfully, he turned right, so it wasn't a head-on collision. Yeah, there is something badly wrong with that UFR.
Unlucky for him, he's got a lot of the race still to go in order to deal with that. So it's going to be a painful, uncomfortable evening for Rayman. It's never fun running that load that far down, but fair play to him for sticking at it. We need drivers to stick at it, or else we won't have many people to talk about later on. There we are. Lagutskas leads over Rick Cardle by 3.4 seconds. Then it's Donny in P3, Thamuli P4, and Unite just behind him in P5. This is probably one of the closest battles on track actually now, Miika. Your teammate is maybe under some pressure from the other Sidus car in this race.
Yeah, Unite has been constantly catching up a bit. He's not that much faster, but he's for the course of like 10 laps, he's got a couple of seconds here, and it could be a fight pretty soon. But in this stage, I want to bring up a thing about the pit strategy on the lead battle. Oh, Aska has nearly rolled it on the outside. I mean, on the exit of the last chicane, which actually allows Nova to get pretty close here.
Yeah, will Nova finally decide to overtake Aska, or is he deliberately waiting behind for some unknown reason? He's going very high. Aska stays very low. Nova.
He's gonna go for it for sure.
I don't know. He's lifting again. Now he goes for it.
Oh.
There we go. Gone a bit
He
deep
took
again.
the outside
though.
line so he can cut inside.
Yeah, he went
with
way
the
too
space trim.
deep again.
But yeah,
Oh dear.
it was a nice try, but not like this time. Aska was able to keep the place. But Nova is still being so close here. He's just playing with his food.
Yeah, I would. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, Miika, you were talking about pit strategy before. We had to change our attention there, so...
And there was a conversation between Lagotskas and Carl before the race, and they were thinking if it's worth to change tires on the pit stop of 10 seconds. And they were thinking that they might keep an eye on, make the pit stop halfway through the race, and if the tires are more than halfway torn out, then they will change tires. But it will be a thing that we'll see later on when they decide to pit. United has really caught up now. He's challenging the Harmon as they exit Jentwoorden. Yeah, he's getting pretty close. It's going to be interesting to see the next time they go onto the oval part, if he's going to be close enough to get the slipstream and have a proper go.
And Trespasser in chat on Twitch has made a good point. Laguskas has a great experience driving UFRs from his efforts in the OEC Endurance by Thelo. So yeah, that is probably an extra boost to his credentials compared to everyone else today.
Yeah, it's a shame really that OEC hasn't run for a number of years. That was the Open Endurance Challenge series that Thilo Falkenberg used to run. Maybe one day we'll see it back. Would be very nice. As we do see Unite beginning again on the infield to close up to the back of Thamuli. It's only a matter of time now. This gap's come down pretty significantly to almost nothing. So let's stick with this and see what happens. This is a fight for P4 overall. Thamuli is defending his position in the Drivers' Championship standings, and Unite's aiming to capitalise with the lack of turnout, I think, is the only other way to describe it from his teammates. He's going to gain on Gabor probably with this one.
Oh, Nova's crashed. Nova out of the race. That's the out of Piff Path actually. So I must have gotten it all wrong, and we have another major departure from the race. Donny pits. Oh, it's all happening now.
Yeah, so that's another one bites the dust, the saying goes. And yeah, there we are. Donny now pulls away from his pit box. And where's he going to join, I wonder? He's going to join just ahead, maybe, or just behind Rony. Yeah, he's going to be behind Rony. Rony's already up to full speed. And Donny's only just coming out of the pit exit line there. Gutskas is probably going to put a lap over Donny. That's insane, almost. Donny's just going through turn 1, and there's the Gutskas. Remember that Donny was in P3 when he went into pits.
Yeah, if that's not ominous, I don't know what is. So we're down to a dozen active drivers, and Rayman out of the race now as well.
Yeah, Rayman just not enjoying the obvious damage that he had on the car, or just not enjoying the driving experience. Decides to retire. So this is really turning into a race of attrition and endurance, which we love. We love an endurance race here. We like difficult combos. I didn't think this was going to be necessarily difficult, but we did think it was going to cause quite a few drivers to have little stumbles and rolls in this thing, and that's what's happened. So, one small mistake and your race is over. And Nova has found that out. Adam's found that out. Rayman has also found that out the hard way.
Yeah, and now that we're thinking about it, it's actually that we are also already lost half of the whole pack that started the race. We had 24 starters and only 12 left, so it's.
Yeah, we're not halfway through the race yet, as we do now have Unite and Thamuli going for it. And Miika, I'm going to give you this one. You take this away.
Okay, thank you. Unite, he's very much on the slipstream, and he's going to cut inside on the oval already, which might open up a slipstream for the family and a opportunity for a counter move. We'll see how it goes, and Hamel will go inside. And he's got a bit deep, but Jonas trying to go out from outside again. But yeah, that was a good counter move from the Hamel to keep his place and deny Unite the pass.
Yeah, this is what we want to see. We want to see this happening. It's not. It doesn't want to make it easy for Unite. They are on similar pace, so why not just keep holding on as long as you can. Unite there, mating with a bollard as we head through to the Gretton hairpin once again. And Thamuli, he's not got as tight a lines as Unite has, and that's hurting again. Again, Unite will be in the slipstream coming out onto oval turn 4.
We'll see if Unite will use the slipstream different way this time. One way that we have seen people use it is to go on very outside on this particular turn as he did, and then cut inside from the slipstream. As Unite is just doing, and he's going to have the inside line on braking, and he's very, very deep. The Hamilton can maybe make a switch back here.
No, Thamuli was too wide.
Yeah,
way too wide, unfortunately. Yeah.
That was a good move for Unite. That's the way we have seen those overtakes happen here.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Dhoni has been driving around unchallenged up ahead, and while those two were scrapping, they may have lost some time to Dhoni, so Dhoni might be able to have pulled out a slight advantage over these two when they decide to make their stop. Dhoni's now a lap down, which is unbelievable, but of course the Gutskas still has to make his 10-second mandatory stop. But how much longer is he going to wait before he decides to do that? He's already put a huge gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's also good for Dhoni to see exactly how the race leader is finding all of his time. He actually goes onto two wheels out of the final chicane, but it was firmly in command of what he was doing. So yeah, Dhoni is still the favourite to finish third. He has a solid platform in which to build, and Unite has to absolutely leather it from this point on to stand a chance.
Yeah, it's a staggering 40-second gap between...
Thamuli on the grass out of Yentwood.
Yeah, he just went on two wheels and made quite a mistake, but he saved it. He's still in the race, just lost a little bit of time there. Nothing too much to worry about.
Yeah, and coming up to traffic of his own. This is quite a busy part of the circuit at the moment. Soini's managed to pick up a drive-through, entering and being too quick in the pit lane, unfortunately. There is quite a slow pit limit here. As he finds his pit box, but that's going to be another long journey down the pit lane for Soini. Soini doing quite a lot of work. He's got damage to repair, he's changing his setup, and he's putting fuel in.
Yeah, even when he got the drive-through penalty, might as well just repair then. Not much to lose in that position anymore.
Someone who we haven't talked about at all pretty much this whole race is Fragmaster's Onifus, currently in P10 and closing up to the back of Jari Katila into turn 1.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Onifus does now. Jari Katila just minding his own business, I suppose, but this is very much a battle for position. Yeah, Onifus will fancy his chances here. He looks a bit more composed, using any slides that may occur to his advantage. So, yeah, we'll see if that battle sees a position change.
Going to get spicy onto the oval, Owen.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, Onifus definitely in the right range is actually our race leader. Comes into the pits. So, several drivers will gain 1 lap back, such as these 2 battlers crossing the start-finish line. So, 10.4 second refuel stop. Spot on there. Oh, contact. Onifus gets through. Well, yeah, it was a case of a sort of diagonal contact, and thankfully didn't unsettle either of the drivers' cars. So Onifus is now through, and he'll contend with P9.
Yep, through he goes. Swiftly done. Not the cleanest of passes, it has to be said. Jari Katila has been in the wars today, not only with Onifus, but with Lara as well earlier on. Lara's retired, so Jari had the last laugh. At the moment, obviously, still plenty of time left to go in the race as we watch Rick Cardle, who currently leads, but only because Legutskas has gone into the pits. We do expect then that Rick Cardle will gain a slight advantage now because he's still out on the track while Legutskas has had to do a pit stop. Almost certainly Legutskas will have put fuel in, and therefore Rick Cardle will be slightly faster, we think, just on pure pace. The car will be lighter, the tyres will be in a better window.
Oh, we have a car on its roof.
Oh, not another one.
It's Unite.
Oh my goodness.
Dear.
And it's out of Gretton
no.
again, and that's quite a long way off the circuit, so that's happened quite late on in that complex, and that means we are down to 11 cars. We've lost a very experienced driver in Unite, and from 3rd place, so pushing way too hard. Unite retires from 3rd in the race. Probably would have been 4th because Donny was ahead of him, but anyway, he was 3rd on track when he rolled. Possibly hit the tyres? Did he? Is it possible? It's such a weird place for him to be on his roof, so he might have crunched the
I
tyre
got
wall.
caught by the basic curb on the right turn of last chicane. So
Okay, yeah. So he's been over on that curb just before the final set of tyres before you hit the oval. Well, there we are. Rick Cardle is closing up to the back of Donny as well to try and put a lap on him. But when will Rick come in? Will Rick decide to come in now or in a bit?
Any delays under blue flags will cause him even more anxiety as Donny kicks up one of the... there we go, there's the movement. So he does kick up a trackside bollard. Yeah, Donny can reduce the amount of risks he takes in the hope of undercutting his rivals because one of them is now out. So Rick feels the opposite way. He's got to push as hard as he can in the hopes that there is a way to make some lap time on his emptier fuel tank. Now this is interesting. It's the battle for the podium as things currently stand. The Hamuli has worked his way up the order through very, very competent drive. Arska, he knows what he's capable of, and he'll want to make sure he's quickly ahead of the ZFRL representative. He's going to have to come from a reasonable way back here, Pete and Miika, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, keep in mind that these guys aren't too far away spread in their points, so Arska's slightly ahead of the Harmon in the points, so they're actually competing in the championship as well as in this race. But so far, the Harmon is ahead. Oscar is looking for a place to overtake. And oh, he's actually going to go inside already. Oh, the Harmon is sent it wide and left the door open, and Oscar will take that. Oh, that is quite a surprising move, but he made it stick and he's through.
Yeah, it was a very smart move, and Arska, his job now is to get away. Tamuli's certainly not going to concede without a fight. So onwards they go. Let's see if Arska now is a very similar position to where they were a lap ago.
Oscar had a very good go from the last corner, and I think the Harmon is just out of the slipstream range, so not going to be a counter at this lap yet.
No, that gap is fairly sizable. Nothing happening on this lap for sure. As we pick up with Rick Cardle, who still has yet to pit. He uses all of the apron actually on the final oval corner. That's allowed in RTFR. Most series drivers are allowed to use this apron here only on the first lap, but RTFR rules allowing drivers to use it at any point. Series at Rockingham used to let cars use the oval on lap one, the apron on lap one, just because it just gave drivers more room to sort themselves out before the braking zone for Dean. But yeah, Rick Cardle doesn't look like he's coming into pit lane anytime soon, and I don't know if either of you have been paying attention to the gap to the Gutscast. We'll get an update on it as he comes through to Kirby, which is this corner here. And yeah, it's going up. Slowly but surely that gap is going up. So Rick Cardle is closing down the gap.
Cardle has been faster than Lagutskas for like 2 laps in a row now, so it's no wonder Cardle doesn't want to pit yet, since he really has the pace for now compared to Lagutskas, and it can get maybe pretty close after the pit stop, but well, it would almost take a mistake from Lagutskas to actually have the battle going on.
I can't calculate an exact number for the distance you need to take when you're in the pit lane, so it's obviously 10 seconds stationary for an ideal stop. It's probably about 25 seconds on that speed limiter, and then you have to merge back out when drivers are on full throttle on the oval, so yeah, it must be about 35-40 seconds total time in the pits. So Järgtel actually now enters the pits, so he will be battling his teammate very soon, I'm sure. So 10.22 second refuel for Jari. Timu is exiting turn 4 on the oval, so Jari should remain in front, but Timu has a very, very strong speed advantage for a little while longer.
Yeah, Jari Kitila rejoins in P9, will that be? No, it's P9, just ahead of Sony, as you said. But yeah, Ricardo is just behind these guys as well, looking to get through. And he's still out, so the gap has come down ever so slightly. Has it on that lap? Has he made a mistake? I think the Gutscast might have made a bit of a game.
Yeah, he must have, yeah.
Him slower lap there.
Oh! That's one way
Timu
to let someone through. Yeah. Timu doing a bit of a pirouette.
Any hopes of Timu overtaking his teammate on circuit through his lap pace? It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, Jari's now a sector clear, it feels like.
Yeah, he is indeed. Let's keep an eye on that gap to the Gutscast then, as that is pretty much the only metric we have to gauge what the gap will be after Rick Cardle pits. 32 seconds the Gutscast spent in the pit lane, so not enough at the moment for Rick Cardle to emerge anywhere near him. If he matches the time lost again in that last sector, Rick Cardle losing time to the Gutscast. So even though the Gutscast is heavier on fuel, he's still got the pace.
Yeah, that was a slow lap for Cardle. He had the back markers there and everything. but it was at least 2 tenths slower than he would have wanted in any case.
The team is really starting to struggle because of his request, the requests coming in with the blue flags. So he wants to get as far away as possible from anyone who wants to lap him. So he's had another wide. He's so far clear of PP. They're actually reasonably close on the track, but not at all on lap count. So yeah, Teemu may as well make a few mistakes just to stay in the race.
Yeah, he's overheated his tires very much, and that's why he must be struggling a lot.
I didn't think that tyre heat was going to be such an issue here. I thought that most drivers would have had their setups dialed. Well, there we go. I gave them far too much credit, I guess. Never mind. It's a long race. You can't do all the prep during the week for a long race like this. But some drivers are managing far better than others. Rick Cardle, one of them, still does not elect to go into the pit lane. You can just see the pit entry line there, the yellow line, and he's driven straight past it, and will continue on to lap 50 of 71. 22 laps to go in the race.
It will be 1:03.99 for Rick Cardle. That's a decent lap for this stage of this team. Soon we will see what will be Lagotska's lap time, and let's compare. He goes across the line, and that's 1:03.95, so it's just a couple hundredths of a second faster than Rick Cardle, which is they're actually going pretty good pace considering they have driven 50 laps already. They are only 2 tenths behind their best laps of the race. So no problems for the tyres for them whatsoever.
Lagutska's coming across a series of lap traffic, starting with last placed PP. There you go. He doesn't want to give up any time really, but there we go. He does eventually merge. Then we have Onifus, who's going to lap Soini, but Onifus down in 8th place is going to be lapped as well. So yeah, those marshals are going to be kept doubly busy. There we go. So Onifus clear of Soini. There's another excellent custom camera shot there, so that's great to see. And another one just for effect. Yeah, there's PP.
PP doing his own little mistakes here. He's quite a way behind all the guys. Not really. I think, yeah, he's been on the pitch twice, and he can't really challenge anyone without any major mistakes. But it will be a solid finish for him, considering if he can keep up and actually finish the race. He's 11th, which is of course pretty good when 24 cars started. So he's gonna get a good lot of points here just by finishing it.
Yeah, there's nothing to be nothing to shake a fist at. It is a great outcome for PP just to collect these points if he remains in the race until the end. Yeah, in terms of on-track battles, we are not seeing as many as perhaps Arska versus Mooley for what is currently the podium, but Iron Johnny is very much in prime position to take back that 3rd place. So we'll see if there's any way for the Mooley to regain that position on Arska.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about Donny for a while because he pitted so early. He pitted from P3. Unite then occupied P3 and then rolled it. So we assume that Donny will have enough in hand to rejoin in P3 after Oscar, Thamuli, and Lorenzo ahead make their stops. But here he is anyway. He's coming up to Yentwood and then Chapman. It is nice having the corner names at Rockingham. It makes it far easier for us rather than having to remember corner numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah, like particular configurations of the default LFS tracks, like depending on if it's Fernbay Gold or Fernbay Black, for example. Yeah, you'd have turn 8, it could mean two totally different things at those tracks. So yeah, that is a good point.
Rick Cardle having to work fairly hard there to get past Lorenzo. Went around the outside through oval turn 4. A while ago we had a bit of a campaign, didn't we, to come up with corner names for some of the other tracks. Obviously we have names that just exist in LFS folklore. Turn 9, for example, at Kyoto, that corner. But yeah, this track, super useful, being based on a real-life track, obviously. Real-life corner names, easier to remember than numbers. But yeah, we should definitely campaign to have more tracks, more corners named at some of the historic tracks in Need for Speed. Sounds like quite a good idea.
I always like when corners have names as well. Like, for example, if you take any legendary real-life tracks like Monza or Spa or anything, they have a lot of corners with names with them. So it's easy to tell which corner is which and where it happens when you just call them by name.
Lorenzo is in and will bring his car to a standstill for at least 10 seconds, otherwise he's going to get a penalty, or he'll have to travel down the pit lane a second time. Donny goes through and regains one of the places that he gave up when he decided to pit. Fuel only for Lorenzo, so he's happy with his tyres, he's happy with his setup, which is always great. And it looks like Rony's done the jump on him as well. He might be close to Onifus. No, he's going to be way behind Onifus when he rejoins.
Yeah, Rony has a tendency to either start a pit stop at the beginning of the race or going as late as possible. So yeah, I believe Rony at this point will have chosen to go the endurance route and try and go as possible, or go as long as possible, and see what happens. But yeah, Arska is their latest driver to make a pit stop.
Yeah, there we go. He stops in his box. That's the second time? No. How many times has he been in the pit lane? Well, that's the first time he's been in. So there we go. He will serve his 10-second stop now. Fuel only for him. And Donny gains back another place. Just Thamuli to go. And he'll be back where he was when he first came in. But Thamuli is already approaching Piff Paff. So that gap is... Ooh, Donny, I think he might just be okay. Yeah, he's going to be about 10 seconds out of Thamuli. 10 or so seconds when Thamuli pits.
Yeah, then it should be all good. I'm very interested in the Hemoli versus Alaska because the Hemoli was just catching up and brought the gap back to like less than 1 second when Alaska pitted. So it's going to depend on the Hemoli's pit stop. Alaska did 11.4 seconds, so the Hemoli can actually save a little bit time there if he's weak enough with the pit, and maybe have a go on Alaska later on.
Well, Rick Cardle has unfortunately lost a bit more time to Lagutskas. It's gone down by another second in the last 5 or so laps. So Lagutskas really is on it. He has found a sweet spot in this car. You mentioned it was Trespasser in the chat earlier, Owen, who said that Lagutskas has has a lot of experience in the UFR in OEC, and that doesn't really stack up because OEC was so long ago that anybody that was in that series would either have to have fantastic muscle memory or just have raw talent in order to keep that skill that was gained from that race. I mean, not to say that obviously OEC isn't a big challenge. It is, or was, but the Gutskas has got raw talent in bundles. I think that's probably more representative of his pace here as we head over start finish for the 58th time. At 58, the Gutskas retakes the fastest lap of the race as well.
Yeah, this is the comeback tour now for the Gutskas. There was the moments of supremacy from Ricciardo, but it's now starting to fade away a little bit. That fuel advantage he would have had is probably starting to negate a bit because the Gutskas has burnt through some of his now. So this is the window of opportunity for Rick to probably say, I need to pit probably the next 5 to 8 laps.
Well, I don't know how long the fuel lasts in this car. I have absolutely no idea. Probably should have done that research before we went live, but there we are. Not everybody on the circuit is refueled, so it's possible the fuel goes the distance. Wouldn't be too surprising. 71 laps is around about an hour 20, which is quite long, but we normally see some drivers coming into pit lane with the faster cars in XL. But yeah, tiny machine, massive fuel tank apparently, Eoin.
Yeah, fuel efficient as well. On top of that, small enough power from the engine, so yeah, it's good balance there. So we'll see how much further those other drivers going long can manage.
Here's Oscar, the next car, who will be asked to move over by the marshals, the blue flag marshals, around the circuit, waving frantically. As he's about to go a lap down to the Gutskas. He's already let Ricciardo through. Time to let the Gutskas through as well. Rony and PP are also in the pit lane together, interestingly enough. Rony is 3 laps ahead of PP, has to swerve out of the way of him to get into a pit box. And 10-second minimum. No work for Rony. A little bit of something going on with PP's car. Tyres and fuel. So again, another driver deciding that the tyres need to be changed. Not happy with the state of them after 60 laps around Rockingham.
No, PP's pitted for the 3rd time, so it was a combination of damage. I know at least one pit stop needed damage repair. I suppose this time he's gone through his tyres, so he's just curious and conscious that he wants to get to the end, no matter what.
Ricciardo just does not have an answer for Gutskas' pace. He's been out for so long. He's clearly got a bit of an advantage on track position staying out. It normally gives you an advantage, but the Gutskas has switched the car back on after his pit stop and is taking time still out of our provisional race leader, who we assume will drop down to P2 after he stops. Thamuli, in fact, might be close to Ricciardo. Look at the gap. In fact, no, he's not going to be close at all, is he? He's going to be quite a way back. We are looking at intervals on the timing tower now, which threw me off. That's how big the gaps are between everybody. So a little bit of false hope there. Thamuli will be quite a way back, maybe half a minute behind, but might join around about Oscar when he makes his pit stop. So interesting.
Yeah, they should have a close battle in the end after the pit stop. But we still got 9 laps to go. Anything can still happen.
Yep, that's true. Thanks for joining us here for the 77th edition of RTFR XL. We have enjoyed 62 laps of watching over half the field roll this car somewhere around the countryside of Middle England, which is always entertaining. But we are down to 11 cars. Plenty of them have got battered and bruised. But here's the Muli.
Here we go. Rick pits. I have to interrupt there. Big moment of the race.
No worries.
The Gusgas is about to enter Kirby, I believe it is. So he's nearly onto the home stretch. So yeah, it's going to be through the final chicane. So yeah, it is going to be a lead change. But Rick is now stationary for service.
Only changing tyres, so Rick doesn't think the tyres are going to make it, but he doesn't need any fuel. But look, that's the change for the lead. The gap is going to be absolutely enormous by the time Rick Cardle's out of the pit lane. A 13.3 second pit stop as well. 3 seconds longer for Rick Cardle than the Gutskas was stationary. And, well, the gap is just going to keep going up and up and up and up as Rick now emerges from pit lane with an absolutely massive deficit back to ahead to Lagutskas. So that just shows you the pace that Lagutskas has been turning lap after lap. They've almost got the entire middle sector between them. Not quite that much, but still a fairly large gap. He's lost 5 seconds in that stint.
Yeah, I suppose it's still very admirable that he's even kept it that kind of pace, given how hard he's had to push, and the traffic may have either given him a boost or may have cost him. So yeah, it's great to see Rick. He knows it's a long slog today to maintain his best possible performance when it did seem bleak, and I was still very respectable.
Also noticing that we only have 4 cars on the leading lap so far. So we still got Teemuli yet to pit. So when he pits, he will probably be lapped down as well. So then that would mean we only have our podium finishers on the same lap, which is quite crazy when you think about it.
Certainly is, yeah. It doesn't happen at all often in RTF4 XL. So yeah, hats off to the 3 guys scheduled to be on the podium for keeping it on the lead lap. But obviously it is Laguskas who is the catalyst for all that exceptional pace and putting a lot of drivers down by a lap. Erska, that was very, very smooth. It looked like he may have overshot the corner, but he managed to turn in beautifully. And he will see his teammate getting lapped by the race leader. So he'll have that job to do as well, to get by his partner Jari Katila. And then maybe he'll try and compete, albeit a lap down himself, against the race leader.
The Gutskas' gap over Rick Cardle is now just under 10 seconds. So I know we've been, shouting about the Gutskas, but Rick Cardle is the only car other than in the top 2 to have even been able to remotely keep pace with the Gutskas' outrageous pace today. Would have been interesting to see if anyone else would have been able to keep up with him. Unusual not to see Gabor here. Unite obviously out early, but could have been another contender potentially. But yeah, Gabor unfortunately not able to attend this round. Hopefully we'll be back for the next one. But let's keep an eye on Lagutskas's gap as he comes across start-finish. He's going to be making it 5 to go in this one. Round 5 of the 2023 season of RTFR. Yep, the gap just continues slowly, relentlessly creeping up. Impressive work.
Perhaps the oval is so high speed, it means that it's very difficult to pull away when the cars are obviously equal. So we'll now probably get a better idea what the gap is now in Sector 1. Yeah, 0.2 gained by Lagutskás.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, Rick Cardle is no slouch. He's won this championship before. He's won RTFR before. And yeah, Lagutskás is going to be eating away at the sidest lead in the Drivers' Championship standings. And there are plenty of rounds left this year for Lagutskás to climb so much that he could take it for himself if he wanted to. I'm sure he's more than capable if he really puts in the work. But yeah, today has been a shining example of how you can really be a specialist in some of the cars in LFS. McCardle and Lagutskás showing their prowess at how, just how much they have mastered this car in a league of their own at the moment. And as you said, Miika, Thamuli, he's yet to pit, and here he comes.
Yeah, and then finally we'll see how close he will get to Arska. The gap is around 32 seconds, so it's gonna be very close by our calculations.
Yeah, well, I think Arska might still have it. He's just coming out of Gretton now. Yeah, you might be right. It's going to be close. Yep. 10.01 for Thamuli. Amazing.
Yeah, and that's even 1.4 seconds faster than Arska did. And the difference between them before the Arska speed stop was less than a second. But let's see, Arska's...
He's got him.
Yeah.
Just. Wasn't much in it.
He's gone past, yeah.
But now, Thamuli will have the bit between his teeth. This is the battle for the podium. And it's the closest battle we have on track by a long way. You'll be shocked when you see the gap between Donny and Rick Cardle on the timing tower. It is rather outrageous. But yeah, this is the battle. This is the battle for P4, not the podium. Donny has that well and truly wrapped up, we think. But yeah, a second then between Thamuli and Arska, but 43 seconds between Donny and Rick Cardle. Absolutely outrageous numbers. And Arska has been catching Donny as well. Not sure there's enough time left. There is a 16-second gap between Arska and Donny, and only 4 laps to go in this race. 3 laps, in fact. Make that 2 laps.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose the last few laps have been flying by now. Another fastest tour of the circuit by Lagutskás. Rick knows his day is relying on a sudden miracle, to be honest.
Oh, they have always spun it in the first corner.
Oh, gosh.
So that's about the P4 fight, but he shouldn't be challenged by...
Got a puncture.
Oh, that's very unfortunate for him.
It is.
No, he needs to pit again. Oh yeah, his last place is there. Onifus has gone past, and Lorenzo will definitely come past as well. As well as Rony.
Yeah, he's going to be sliding around the place. There's no rear stability when the track rises and falls. So yeah, he's got to be alert to 2 cars coming. Yeah, Lorenzo for position. And then lap down PP, he will actually he'll get the signal to move clear of the Thamuli, unless no, he's just watching for the opportunity. Yeah, there we go. Stay. Yeah. Oh, that was close.
But onto the final lap comes, yes, Motorsports Vitautas Lacunas, as he's going by in this series. Of course, his real name is Lagutskás, but as we head up towards Chapman for the 71st time It has been a stellar drive from him. Just one lap to negotiate. I've seen plenty of drivers falling over, but no such trouble yet for the Gutskas as he heads through the back part of the circuit for the final time. A little bit of a flourish over the curbs at Gretton before he heads back onto the oval. Owen, take him across the line. He's done an amazing job today.
And here we go. Leguskas has dominated the field today, and he will celebrate that pole position converted into the race win. And across the line he goes. So, yeah, it is a sweep of RTF4 XL, round number 77 overall. And yeah, Ricardo 9.05 seconds worse off there, but another excellent performance has to be said. Various lapped cars are getting over the line now, but Iron Dunny, well, to stay on the lead lap, that is also extraordinary, and just needs to get through the final set of corners. There we go, and oval turn 4 awaits for him to celebrate. An absolutely fantastic result.
Yeah, I mean, Rick Cardle managed to keep. He managed to gain a little bit on that final lap, but obviously not enough. Iron Donny will be quite a way back, but still staying on the lead lap. That's important for a driver. You really always want to do that. You don't like being lapped. It's not a nice feeling being lapped in a race like this. But Donny, not only did he get a podium, he stayed on the lead lap, which must feel pretty sweet indeed. There are the rest of the results. Our 11 finishes. Fair play, I have to say, to PP for persevering. 8 laps down, multiple pit stops, but he kept it on the track. And that's more than can be said for a lot of people, as you can see from this result.
I want to point out here, Onifus has passed Arska in the last lap because Arska also blew a tire. So that was interesting. The tires were going off on the very last laps of the race.
Yeah, we completely missed that. I mean, fair play for keeping track of that, Miika. But yeah, it shows you that it doesn't matter how you think it's going to go. There's always going to be something thrown into the works at the end. And so yeah, Onifus, after being basically nowhere for most of the race, emerges one step off the podium. I wouldn't have called that.
No, that was a bit of a surprise as well, given how difficult it was at times for Onifus. So yeah, full credit there as well.
On the screen, you have the final classified results of RTFR round number 5 of 2023. There we have Legutskas on the podium. And on the screen, we have Rick Cardle in second place, 9 seconds back with Donny in P3, Onifus P4, then Asker, Lorenzo, Rony, Thamuli, Yari, Soini, and PP were your 11 finishers. Not finishing, and it's quite remarkable actually. We didn't have anybody DNF for quite a while. The most recent DNF was 32 laps ago by Unite. He flipped after clouting the wall a little bit. He just gets points. He's only just classified over halfway through the race. And then it's Rayman who will not be classified. Nova, Lara, Nex, Rex, TC Ratings Adam, 3Jump. Then we've got T-Bug, who pretty much was out before it even began, but did stay on the track for a few more laps before retiring 65 laps down. And that's all she wrote. Legutskas with the fastest lap, a 1:03.65, absolutely insane. He showed everyone up today, Owen and Miika. That's all we can say about that.
Yeah, definitely. There was nothing anyone else could do to stop Leguskas's journey to the victory. He had everything you could ask for and more. So it was only just the case he pitted earlier. That's why he didn't lead every single lap.
Yeah, that was a Lagotska show. Not the first one we've seen, and probably not the last one we've seen, but very good effort from Ricardo to try to keep up and finishing only 9 seconds behind, and as well as Donny keeping on the same lap when everyone else got let down. So yeah, it was an interesting race. There was a lot of stuff going on. Even in the very end, we got some tires blowing up and some drama going on. But yeah, what a show again.
Yeah, a little bit quieter towards the end, but that only happens when you have a lot of drama early on. So we were spoiled early on, and that didn't really leave a lot of action till later on. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. Here is the calendar. We have a month break before the next edition of RTFR XL, but that doesn't mean there isn't going to be any RTFR action on your screens. Of course not. We have 2 rounds of RTFR in the next month as well. And the next of those is going to be next week. So please join us again on Tuesday for the shorter version, the regular version of RTFR, which is around about 35 minutes of racing. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you there at the same time. RTFR XL will be back on your screens on June the 13th for the 78th running, which will be chosen, the combination for which will be chosen by our winner today, Vitautas Lagutskas. That's all we've got time for here on Sim Broadcast. We thank you very much for your viewership, and we do appreciate you always. If you do fancy supporting our channel further, you can do that by liking and commenting and subscribing to our YouTube channel, or subscribing or following us on Twitch. We do appreciate all of that. We've also got a shop, simbroadcasts.tv, for all of the information about us. We appreciate you for watching, and we'll see you all next time. We've been Sim Broadcast. I've been Peter Butcher, Eoin Harmon, and Miika Sarkinen joined me in the commentary box. We've had Chris McElroy in the background, pointing all of our cameras at the right people. And yeah, from all of us to all of you, have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.